Okay, I'm with Gustavo today, and Gustavo, I want to start off by saying muchas gracias for taking your time to educate me and my team on insurance and how it relates to the janitorial industry. So let's just get started. If you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the insurance agency, or excuse me, the insurance industry.
Yeah, sim, mucho gusto. Olá a todos, mi nombre es Gustavo Soares. Soy un agente de seguros en Oregon y Washington. Soy de Brasil y viví en la Florida durante 13 años, donde aprendí un poco de español. Entonces, así me disculparé de antemano por cualquier error. Vivo en Portland desde 2014 y con mi esposa y mi hijo de 12 años. Y nuestra oficina está en Northeast Portland.
Perfect. Awesome. Now, can you tell us that a little bit in English here too?
Yeah, I was just a generic introduction, just saying, my name is Gustavo Suarez. I'm a insurance agent here in Oregon and Washington. I'm originally from Brazil, but I lived in Florida for about 13 years, where I learned a little bit of Spanish. My family, actually, my father-in-law, he's from Argentina, so we get to practice a little bit of Spanish at home. But my main language is Portuguese, now English. So I need to please excuse myself for any mistake that I may make in Spanish, because Spanish is not my first language. But I typically tend to I have a good command of all three languages.
Oh, that's great. And there's also a lot of Spanish resources that you have available to your clients as well too, which I think is great. So the insurance companies you work with kind of take into consideration the Hispanic community, and they seem to be very supportive of it. So that's why I was really excited to reach out to you. And with your Spanish speaking background, I was like, this is a perfect fit. Okay, cool. So obviously, as you know, like I'm in the janitorial industry, and so that's kind of like what I prefer, that the focus kind of sticks around. But I kind of just generally say call it the cleaning business or the industry, whatever makes the most sense. But let me start off by asking you, like, what type of insurance policies should professional cleaning businesses consider?
Okay. Bueno, los dueños de negocios tienen diferentes necesidades de seguros. Propietarios de empresas de servicios de limpieza no son una excepción. Entonces, las pólizas más comunes serían la de responsabilidad comercial, de compensación de trabajadores, your workers' compensation, de seguro de invalidez, this would be your disability insurance, seguro de vida, your life insurance, and cuenta de retiros, your a retirement account. Even though that's not a insurance policy, that's something that all business owners, big or small, should consider.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Um, that if you make a relationship with a good professional insurance agent, it's not just your business insurance that you need to be concerned about. The idea with insurance is that it really protects you as the policy holder, even though often the primary contractor like myself is asking for the insurance from the contractors we work with. That really protects everybody. It protects the business owner as the policy holder too. And then in order to get that protection, you really have to analyze everything. Like the one that's the most easiest to understand is car insurance. Everybody has car insurance too. So you really have to get that whole picture in. And like, for instance, do you use your car in your business? What if you have an employee use your car and they get hurt? These are all the things that are really important that you discuss with your insurance agent, so they can get a really good picture of like what your personal business and personal finances may be, and then they really come with a customized solution too. So it's a really good opportunity to reach out to an insurance agent and ask them these particular things. One of the insurance policies that we're mostly that we always require all our contractors to have is the general liability insurance. So why don't you explain to us what a general liability insurance is and how it protects the business owner?
Sí. El seguro de responsabilidad comercial ayuda a proteger al propietario de la empresa contra reclamaciones derivadas de lesiones corporales y daños a la propiedad. Entonces, si una persona, por ejemplo, no un trabajador, si resbala, tropieza o cae después de limpar el piso, podría iniciar una demanda legal. Se um outro exemplo, se sua aspiradora ou outro equipo inicia um incêndio, a póliza de seguro de responsabilidade comercial pagaria qualquer dano causado à propriedade, inmueble ou na persona.
Hmm. That's a good example. The one that we see a lot is trip and fall. So I like your vacuum cleaner. Say you're vacuuming and somebody in the building, doesn't matter who, doesn't matter why they're there. It just is could be walking and they could trip over your cord.
Exactly.
What now? Like, well, how does that insurance help protect that?
Beyond what I just explained.
Yeah, it's in a way it's in any ways it adds to that. I should say. I mean, your explanation was good, but I think it's better that we keep it a little bit
Sim,
more simple, more generic. So I don't
okay.
want to use that specific example, but the idea is that really to get your point, if I understand it correctly, it really is offering that protection against certain types of accidents. Is that a good way of saying it?
Yes, and another way to say too is, este un tipo de póliza que vas a proteger tu cuenta de banco, ¿verdad? Porque si usted es responsable por un accidente, una persona puede empezar una demanda legal y buscar un abogado y usted tiene que pagar para la respuesta legal, pagar tajas de corte. Y tiene muchos fees, hay costos para le defender en la corte, entonces está protegiendo tus ingresos, está protegiendo tu cuenta de banco. Porque si usted se encuentra como culpable en un accidente, la persona puede dar un sue por daños físicos, daños morales. Entonces, la póliza de protección del seguro de responsabilidad comercial le paga todos esos daños financieros para que usted no tenga que pagar de su bolsillo.
Perfect. Okay. Excellent. The next question I have for you is about workers' comp insurance. And what is workers' comp insurance and how is that different from the general liability?
La diferencia es que el seguro de compensación para trabajadores paga si un trabajador, sin incluir el dueño del negocio, se lesiona en el trabajo. Entonces, por ejemplo, si su empleado se cae de una escalera y sufre lesiones, la póliza de compensación de trabajadores paga hasta que este empleado se ponga normal y regrese a trabajar.
Okay. The issue with the workers' comp for us that we've seen more is that now there's a license that you need to be in the janitorial industry here in Oregon, and they're very specific about that. I mean, like if you have anybody working for you, you need to have that workers' comp insurance. So it doesn't matter if it's your mom, it doesn't matter if it's grandma, it doesn't matter if it's your friend or your cousin, your uncle. If they're working for you and you're paying them, they need to have the workers' comp insurance. And again, that's just a requirement, the legal requirement just to have the license. Beyond other legal things that it's the law that required that you have that workers' comp. And I think there's often confusion as to, well, they're my friend or it's a family. I don't really need it. I'm like, yes, you do. You definitely need to have that workers' comp. Now, with the general liability, if it's just you own the business and you have no employees and you're doing all the cleaning, then the general liability is all that we're going to ask of you. And same with the licensure from the state too, that they're going to say that that's all you need. But if you have anybody helping you out, they need to go get that workers' comp insurance. So if they get hurt, they're going to be taken care of and protected. And that's not necessarily covered in the general liability. So that's where the two different ones come in.
No, that's
Great.
correct. But also you have to keep that in mind. And I'm not sure if it's if this is different from for janitorial services. But if the individuals are related by blood or marriage, so if it's husband and wife working together, or son and daughter, they may be exempt and not need to provide workers' compensation.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. And you know what? I'm really glad you brought that up because every situation is really different. There's a lot of laws involved, and there's a lot of technical questions that quite frankly, as a business owner, we need to really lean on or rely on a professional in that industry. So I would love it if my network of people would come to you and ask you these questions, because that's I can only give so much information because I'm not a professional in this arena. So I can't stress the importance of looking at your insurance agent as a resource for you,
Mm-hmm.
to protect yourself, and then to ask those hard questions. So I appreciate you bringing that up, because it's a really good example of how complex the situation is, and it's hard to get answers. So pick up the phone and call the professionals, and at the end of this, I'll make sure to put up your numbers, so if people have questions, they can reach you. Um, Okay, I'm moving on. Is with the certificate of insurance. It's often called the COI.
Mm-hmm.
For us to do business with one of our vendors or one of our contractors, we always ask for proof of insurance, and that's what the COI does for us. So again, certificate of insurance, or COI. But in your words, can you explain to us what a COI is?
Yeah, absolutely. In Spanish, un COI, un COI, es un certificado de seguro. Este es una prueba de seguro requerido por algunas empresas para que pueda comenzar el trabajo. El COI otorga derechos al cliente en caso de reclamo, y la compañía de seguros enviará al cliente también una carta si se cancela la póliza, por ejemplo. Si tiene algún problema de pago y tu póliza no está vigente, cuando una compañía le pide el COI, también vas a recibir la misma comunicación que usted va a recibir de la compañía de seguridad. Pero el COI es solamente una prueba de seguridad para que puedas empezar los servicios.
Perfect. What about on a certificate of insurance? You may be required to list somebody as additionally insured. So for us, we will ask for your COI, and then we'll also ask that on that COI, we get listed as additionally insured. What does it mean to be additionally insured?
Cuando una compañía está en la póliza como un additional interest, esta compañía tiene derecho de llamar a la oficina de nosotros y hacer preguntas sobre la póliza para confirmar si la póliza está vigente, para pedir una copia de la póliza si necesario, pero con la compañía de nosotros no hay una diferencia muy grande entre un COI y un additional interest. Son lo mismo y con nosotros, y le otorgan lo mismo derecho.
Okay, gracias for that. The other one that on the certificate of insurance, again, that's something that we require of our vendors or our contractors that we work with, is to also have a waiver of subrogation.
Mm-hmm.
What is a waiver of subrogation? Because that's still I ask for it all the time, and to be honest
Sure.
with you, I think it still confuses me. So what is a waiver of subrogation?
Ok, como una manera bien simple de intentar explicar lo que significa the waiver of subrogation. Esta es una renuncia a la subrogación, es una cláusula de seguro que da derechos a la compañía de seguro de resarcir cualquier daño económico. Entonces, por ejemplo, si su aspiradora se enchufa en la pared y se incendia, la compañía de seguridad va a pagar los daños de la pared, daños al piso, pero la compañía de seguro quiere recibir lo que ha pagado del reclamo directamente con el fabricante de una aspiradora que está defectuosa. Entonces, a través de la renuncia de subrogación, la compañía de seguros puede reparar los daños del fabricante debido a una aspiradora que está defectuosa, por ejemplo.
Okay, so okay, that's interesting. I'm learning a little bit in here. Okay, I'm gonna move on and kind of get towards the end here. And can you explain to us what an annual audit is? And um, our contractors that we work with and our vendors that we work with, every year they're used to us calling them every year towards around the same time when we have our audit, and we're asking for their certificate of insurance. We're making sure that we're listed as additionally insured and have the waivers of subrogation. So that's something really important to us because we want to make sure that our insurance company has a really clear understanding of who we're working with. Um, Now, I think this is important because our vendors and our contractors that we work with also have to do this annual audit as well. And I think oftentimes, I don't always think they do it, but they should do it, because if not, I think it's going to end up costing more money. So if you can explain how that process benefits them if they, and don't ignore it.
No, absolutely. Um, las pólizas de contratistas requieren una auditoría anual porque el costo del seguro se basa o se basea en los ingresos y dinero pagado a los empleados. Entonces, la compañía de seguro quiere asegurarse de que no hay ayudantes adicionales trabajando en el negocio. Y esto es por cuenta de, porque cuanto más ayudantes significan más posibilidades de reclamos. Entonces, por tanto, al final del año, si el dueño de la empresa está trabajando con un contador, el contador puede ayudar a completar la auditoría al final del año, o usted personalmente puede proporcionar los ingresos y dinero pago a los empleados directamente, esta información directamente a la compañía de seguridad. Porque
Okay.
cuantos más trabajadores en la compañía, más grande va a ser tu premio, el costo de seguro, y es por cuenta del riesgo. Cuanto más ayudantes, hay más posibilidades de hacer un reclamo.
And the price can go down too. It doesn't always go up if you
Exactamente.
have less
Entonces,
employees or what.
por
There's a lot
ejemplo,
of things.
por ejemplo, yo también soy un dueño de una pequeña empresa, ¿verdad? Yo tengo 6 empleados, pero el año pasado solamente trabajamos con 4. Entonces, cuando salimos de 6 para 4 y trabajamos casi todo el año solamente con 4 personas en la oficina, y después de enviar la información de ingresos y de dinero pago a los empleados, mi precio de Workers' Comp bajó, porque se basea en número de empleados en la oficina. Y después de un año, cuando contraté más 2 funcionarios, más 2 empleados, ajustaron mi precio de seguro por cuenta del número de empleados en la oficina. Entonces, sí, puedes bajar cuando no tiene más ayudantes y puedes subir cuando agrega más.
Right. Okay. And this is a very normal process. I mean, this isn't. Don't be scared or think it's.
No,
They'll ask some questions, some detailed questions, but just be honest. Tell them the truth. Like you're
sí,
not doing any favors by
no,
not
todo,
answering the
sí,
phone or not giving them all the information. You're only
sí.
going to hurt yourself.
Exactamente, la compañía de seguridad no quiere se meter en tu negocios, ellos solamente están queriendo um, le cobrar un valor justo por el número de trabajadores o número de empleados en tu negocios.
Perfect. Okay, Gustavo, I've taken a lot of your time, and I truly appreciate it. And like I said before, the whole intent is here is to provide some kind of education for our community. Is there anything else you want to throw out there, or anything that you feel that it'll be important to know?
I just wanted to touch base on the other 2 or 3 types of insurance that most business owners should consider, including setting up a retirement plan. So I mentioned in the beginning the 5 or 6 different options, which are not the only options. You know, most business owners, they should consider their commercial liability, their workers' comp if they have employees, a disability plan, a life insurance plan, and a retirement account. We touch base on the commercial, the general liability. We talked about workers' comp, but we didn't talk about the other three. So the only thing that I'd like to tell small business owners out there, business entrepreneurs, either that they're whether starting a business now or have already a business moving, I would just say one thing, regarding the disability plan, es un seguro de invalidez. Y esta es la única póliza que le paga a usted si usted se lesiona y no puedes trabajar durante un periodo específico de tiempo.
That's
Y el otro, el seguro de vida. El segundo, la seguridad de vida. La seguridad de vida paga en caso de muerte. Pero si es propietario de una pequeña empresa y la empresa es la única fuente de ingresos para su familia, debes considerar una póliza de vida para proteger tus ingresos, ¿verdad? Y por último, la cuenta de retiro, que no es una póliza de seguro, pero todos los propietarios de pequeñas y grandes empresas también deben abrir una lo antes posible.
That's such a good point. Now, we're a family business. I love working with other family businesses, and I believe you have a family business as well.
Yeah.
And these all these insurance policies that may seem like, oh, this is extra. If you really look at it, you're really protecting your family, yourself as well, but it's your family. And if you're not healthy and able to go to work, or if you get sick, or if you die, or we're all going to die eventually, you really have to be thinking of that protection of your whole family, especially when you've been the primary or the main person making the money.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that you mentioned too, with the different types of insurance policies, this is not a way to sell you more things. That what you need to understand is that where one policy ends, another one starts. So it's important that you understand all the ones that he's talking about you, so you can put all of it in one picture. Because one thing that I know a lot of business owners, including myself, make the mistake is they're thinking, oh, I have insurance, I'm covered with that. And it's not. Like, we do a lot of digital marketing, and if I make mistakes on the internet, I don't have there's all these insurance that we talked about. There's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them that you name that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't help me at all. So
Exactly.
that's a tip for kind of insurance that I need to really put into it. I think the last time I looked, and we were at like 7 policies that we have just for the cleaning part, and that doesn't include any of my personal ones that you've mentioned. So and I just talked about, I have to add another one with the digital stuff too. So it never ends, and that's why it's important that you really understand these other services that you provide, so you get a really good picture of the whole thing. Well, Gustavo, in closing, I'm gonna put your information in here, because I would love it if my network called you. Don't take my word for it. I'm not the professional here. Please call Gustavo if you have any questions, and he'd be more than happy to help you out. And Gustavo, again, in closing, thank you so much for your time, and this really means a lot to me. And you giving us your time is the most precious thing that you can do for us at this moment. And thank you so much. So I promise that I will continue to provide value for you, and hopefully send you some people that you can actually help out as well.
Yes, absolutely. And Jose, I appreciate you considering us for your network of clients. And I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to chat with you today and talk about insurance. But my office is in Northeast Portland. If anyone is interested and would like to know more about the insurance, with no need for purchase, that's not a we don't require that you purchase anything. But if you want to take advantage of our resources as an extra set of eyes, take a look at what you have, perhaps see what you're missing. We'll be glad to take a look at your individual situation right now, whether to find out whether this is the policy you currently have protects you from all different angles. We'll be glad to assist with anything we can.
Great. And, well, thank you for your time, Gustavo.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.